You've just walked out of your doctor's office with a lab result in your hand. Your blood sugar levels are higher than normal, but not high enough to be called diabetes. Maybe your doctor told you it's prediabetes and handed you a brochure. Or maybe you didn't even get that far. You just saw the word elevated and felt the weight of uncertainty settle on your chest. Let's pause here. Don't panic. What you've just discovered is not the end of the road. In fact, it might be one of the most valuable wake-up calls you'll ever get. You see, millions of people in this country are walking around with prediabetes and have no idea. They feel a bit tired, maybe gain a few pounds, struggle to sleep, or feel foggy throughout the day. But they chalk it up to aging, stress, or just one of those things. The truth is, prediabetes doesn't come with fireworks or alarms. It comes quietly, gradually, and if you don't listen, it turns into something far more difficult to reverse. So what exactly is prediabetes? Imagine your body's sugar management system as a thermostat. When your blood sugar rises, your body releases insulin, a hormone that tells your cells to open up and take in that sugar to use for energy. But over time, especially with poor diet, lack of movement, or chronic stress, your cells stop listening to insulin. They shut the door. The sugar stays in your blood. Your insulin levels go up as your body tries harder and harder to compensate. That's how prediabetes takes hold. Now, you might be wondering, if my blood sugar isn't diabetic, why worry? Isn't this just a warning sign? Here's the hard truth. Prediabetes isn't just a gentle nudge. It's a full-blown signal that your metabolism is under strain. Even before you cross the threshold into type 2 diabetes, high blood sugar starts affecting your organs. You may notice that cuts and scrapes take longer to heal. Your vision feels a bit off. You're more tired after meals. Your blood pressure might creep up. And let's not forget the emotional toll: frustration, fear, even shame. All of that starts now, not later. For those of us in our 50s, 60s, or beyond, this moment matters even more. Your body doesn't bounce back the way it did at 25, but it still responds beautifully and powerfully when you give it what it needs. The key is recognizing what's happening and acting before things spiral. Prediabetes doesn't mean you're broken. It means your body is overwhelmed. And just like any overwhelmed system, it needs a reset. Not punishment, not pills, not fads. A reset grounded in daily choices. Choices you can start making today. Now, let's get personal. Have you been feeling more tired after meals than you used to? Have you gained weight around your midsection despite eating what feels like the same amount? Do you crave sugar in the afternoon or feel unusually drowsy after lunch? These are not random annoyances. They're clues, and your body has been whispering them for months, maybe years. The sooner we tune in, the better. Because the beauty of prediabetes is that it's still reversible. Not with magic pills or extreme diets, but with understanding, consistency, and respect for your body's design. This is where your story changes, not in fear, but in clarity. Because once you understand what prediabetes truly is, you can begin to reclaim your health with wisdom, not worry. Let's go back to something most of us took for granted in our younger years: eating. You eat a meal, you feel full, and your body gets the energy it needs. Simple, right? But with prediabetes, something fundamental in that process has gone wrong. Not because you ate something bad once, but because a quiet breakdown has been happening behind the scene, slowly, silently, and with growing consequences. Here's what's really happening inside your body. Every time you eat, your blood sugar rises. That's normal. Your body releases insulin, the hormone that tells your cells, "Hey, sugar's here. Open up and let's use it." In a healthy system, the cells respond. They absorb the sugar, use what they need for energy, and your blood sugar drops back to a safe level, like clockwork. But when you eat too often, eat too much processed food, or carry extra weight for years, your cells start to change. They get tired. Think of a house that's already packed to the brim with boxes. When insulin comes knocking, "Let me in. I have more sugar," those cells start saying, "Sorry, we're full." They stop responding to insulin. This is insulin resistance. And the more insulin resistance you have, the more sugar stays in your blood. Your pancreas notices this and goes into overdrive. It produces even more insulin to try and push that sugar into the cells. It's like shouting louder at someone who isn't listening. Maybe it works at first, but over time, the noise just becomes part of the background. The cells don't care anymore. They've stopped responding. Now your insulin levels are high, your blood sugar is high, and your body is stuck in a loop that only gets worse. Let me ask you this. Have you been feeling hungrier than usual, even after a meal? Do you crash in the afternoon, reaching for snacks or coffee to make it through? Do you notice your energy dipping around the same time each day? That's not weakness. That's your body trying and failing to regulate energy because insulin isn't working like it used to. Insulin resistance doesn't just affect your blood sugar. It affects everything. Vision problems, fatigue, trouble sleeping, brain fog, high blood pressure, low libido, even mood swings. These aren't separate issues. They're symptoms of a system that's overwhelmed and ignored for too long. Here's where the wake-up call becomes a gift. Insulin resistance is not permanent. The body is incredibly smart and responsive. When you give it space, nourishment, and rest, it starts to heal. But first, you need to stop fighting the wrong enemy. Sugar is a problem, yes, but the real threat is that your cells have stopped listening. The solution isn't in eating less, it's in eating smarter. It's not in exercising more, it's in moving with intention. And it's not about fear. It's about reclaiming trust in your body's ability to restore balance when given the chance. Now picture this. You finish a meal, and instead of feeling heavy and sluggish, you feel clear, headed, and light. Your energy holds steady through the day. Your cravings lessen. You sleep better. This is what happens when insulin does its job again. When the noise quiets and the message finally gets through. This is not a fantasy. It's biology. And your body is ready. Let's talk about one of the most confusing parts of prediabetes food. If you've ever walked through the grocery store and felt completely overwhelmed, you're not alone. Labels shout, low fat, whole grain, heart healthy, and yet somehow nothing seems to be working. You're eating the way they told you to, but your blood sugar keeps climbing. You're watching your portions, cutting calories, skipping desserts, and still, you feel tired, frustrated, and stuck. Here's the truth. Most of what we've been told about food for decades has failed us. It wasn't designed to keep us healthy. It was designed to sell products. One of the biggest traps is breakfast. For years, we were told to eat cereal with low-fat milk, a slice of toast, and maybe a glass of orange juice. That sounds reasonable, right? But let's break that down. Cereal is processed grains, usually loaded with sugar. Low-fat milk takes away the natural fat that slows sugar absorption. Toast, more starch. Orange juice, liquid sugar. By the time you finish breakfast, your blood sugar has spiked, and by mid-morning, it crashes. You feel irritable, foggy, and hungry again. This cycle repeats itself all day, and the food industry knows it. They design snacks to keep you chasing energy granola bars, flavored yogurts, energy drinks, fruit juices, all cleverly packaged to look healthy. But if it comes in a box, bottle, or wrapper with a health claim, be cautious. Real food doesn't need advertising. So, what should you eat? First, understand that not all carbohydrates are created equal. Your body turns starch into sugar. That means potatoes, rice, pasta, bread, and even oatmeal, while comforting can spike your blood sugar just as much as a candy bar. It's not about cutting all carbs. It's about knowing which ones work with your body. not against it. Focus on foods that keep your blood sugar steady. That means non-starchy vegetables like spinach, broccoli, zucchini, and bell peppers. These give you fiber, vitamins, and volume without the sugar load. Pair those with protein eggs, fish, chicken, or beans. Then add healthy fats like avocado, olive oil, coconut oil, or even a handful of nuts. Fat isn't your enemy. In fact, good fats help slow the release of sugar into your blood, keeping your energy balanced and your hunger in check. Another secret? Real food satisfies. When you eat a vegetable omelet with a bit of cheese and a side of berries, you're full for hours. Compare that to a bowl of cereal that leaves you hungry by 10 in the morning. It's not about willpower. It's about biology. Here's a helpful question to ask yourself before each meal. Is this going to help my body work better or make it work harder? You don't have to be perfect, but you do need to be aware. If you want your insulin to start working again, you have to stop overwhelming it with foods that send your blood sugar on a roller coaster. It's not just about avoiding sugar. It's about respecting your body enough to feed it what it truly needs. Food is not punishment. It's medicine. And when you begin to eat in a way that supports your body's natural rhythm, something amazing happens. You stop fighting your hunger, and you start healing from the inside out. This is how you reverse the direction, not with guilt, not with starvation, but with food that finally works for you, not against you. There's something deeply human about eating. It comforts us. It brings people together. But somewhere along the way, we began eating not just when we were hungry, but constantly out of habit, boredom, stress, or just because food was everywhere. And without even realizing it, we've trained our bodies to expect food all day, every day. But here's the thing. Your body was never meant to be digesting around the clock. If you're dealing with prediabetes, one of the most powerful steps you can take has nothing to do with what you eat, but rather, when you don't eat. It's called fasting. And I don't mean starving yourself or doing anything extreme. I'm talking about simply giving your body a break, a chance to reset, a chance to lower your insulin levels so that your cells can finally begin to listen again. Let's say you finish dinner at 7 in the evening. What if you didn't eat anything again until 7 the next morning? That's 12 hours of rest. 12 hours, when your pancreas isn't forced to pump out more insulin. 12 hours when your digestive system gets to rest, and your cells can start using up stored energy, especially the fat around your midsection that's contributing to insulin resistance in the first place. This approach is called intermittent fasting. It's not new. It's how our ancestors lived for thousands of years. They didn't snack before bed or grab breakfast on the run. They ate in natural rhythms when food was available, when they were truly hungry. And during the hours in between, their bodies healed, rebalanced, and renewed. Now, I know what you might be thinking. I get hungry at night. Or, I can't skip breakfast. But the beauty of fasting is that it's flexible. You can start gently. Maybe just delay breakfast by an hour. Maybe stop eating snacks after dinner. The goal isn't perfection. It's creating a rhythm that allows insulin levels to fall, so your body can finally respond the way it was designed to. And what about hunger? Believe it or not, hunger often fades once your body adjusts. In fact, many people report more stable energy, better focus, and even improved sleep after they begin fasting. If you need support during those fasting hours, you can sip on water, black coffee, herbal teas, or a bit of broth. A small amount of healthy fat, like a teaspoon of coconut oil in your tea, won't disrupt the process and can help with early hunger. Fasting is not a punishment. It's a gift. It's one of the most natural, powerful ways to reverse insulin resistance, lower blood sugar, and tap into the healing potential already inside you. And here's something else to consider. By not eating all the time, you begin to reconnect with true hunger. You learn the difference between eating because your body needs fuel versus eating because you're bored or anxious. That awareness alone can change everything. This isn't about willpower. It's about creating space for your body to rest, for your hormones to rebalance, for your metabolism to finally exhale. So if you've been eating 6 or 7 times a day, snacking late into the evening, or waking up hungry every morning, try this. Pick a 12-hour window. Stick to it. Let your body experience the quiet. Because healing often begins not with more but with less. And when you wake up one morning with more energy, clearer thinking, and less bloating, you'll realize your body has been waiting for this pause. It just needed a chance. There's a reason we often hear the phrase, move it or lose it. Our bodies were designed to move not for punishment, not for performance, but for function, balance, and healing. Yet for many of us, especially in our later decades, movement has become optional, something we squeeze in when there's time. But when it comes to reversing prediabetes, movement is not extra. It's essential. After every meal, your blood sugar rises. That's normal. But how high it rises and how long it stays elevated depends a lot on what you do afterward. Imagine this. You finish dinner and sit down on the couch. Your blood sugar peaks, and your body releases insulin, hoping your cells will open up and take in the sugar. But your muscles, the biggest consumers of glucose, are quiet. They're not helping. Now imagine a different scene. You finish dinner and take a 10-minute walk. Nothing intense, just a steady pace through your neighborhood or even around your living room. Your muscles activate. They open their doors. They welcome the glucose, using it for energy right away. Your blood sugar drops gently and naturally. Your insulin levels stay balanced. Your body thanks you. It doesn't take a gym membership or fancy equipment. Walking is one of the most powerful tools for blood sugar control, especially after dinner, when we're most sedentary. And if walking outside isn't an option, walk in place. Turn on music. March while brushing your teeth. Dance with your grandkids. The goal isn't perfection, it's motion. Your cells respond to it. Every step counts. But just as important as movement is stillness, not during the day but at night. Sleep is the secret weapon nobody talks about. When you don't sleep well, even just one bad night, your blood sugar rises the next day. Your cravings increase. Your focus weakens. Your body becomes more resistant to insulin. And over time, poor sleep becomes a silent driver of chronic illness. So, how do you protect your sleep? Start by winding down early. Dim the lights. Turn off bright screens. Avoid caffeine after midday. Try not to eat close to bedtime. Create a sleep routine just like you would for a child. And most importantly, treat your sleep like medicine. It's not a luxury, it's a necessity. And then there's something even deeper: your state of mind. Living with prediabetes can feel like carrying a quiet weight. You might blame yourself, feel ashamed, or think it's too late to change. But hear me clearly. None of this is your fault. You were not given the tools. You were fed misinformation. You were surviving in a world that made it easy to ignore the signs. But not anymore. You've taken the first step, awareness. Now comes the next step, action. And you don't have to do it all at once. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to be consistent. Small shifts in food, in movement, in rest, they add up. They compound. And over time, they change everything. Reversing prediabetes isn't about fighting your body. It's about partnering with it. Listening to what it's been trying to say. Giving it what it needs, and stepping out of the way so it can heal. And it will heal. Your body is wise. It's waiting for your leadership. And now, you have the knowledge to guide iTone day, one meal, one walk, one good night's sleep at a time. This is not just a strategy. It's a new way of living. A quieter, steadier rhythm where your health returns not with noise, but with peace. You're not too late. You're right on time.